to our podcast, guys, the Elevate and Beyond podcast. And we just want to thank everyone who has supported us through our platforms. Yeah. So thank you everyone for liking, subscribing. We have just reached 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we hope to continue on with our journey there. We are now on Spotify, Buzzsprout, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. So wherever you are comfortable to listen to us, please do so. So basically, this episode is more of a chill episode wherein we are talking about student freelancing and many more. Basically, my journey as a student freelancer towards as a business owner of our marketing agency. So yeah, we actually have list of questions because a lot of students have seen my vlog. I have this personal YouTube, guys, so basically like and subscribe. I have a personal YouTube wherein I shared more of the tips on how to be a student freelancer this 2023. And it's almost, I think, 8,000 views, wherein people are now coming to my social media platforms asking me how to do this and that. So we have listed and have gotten some of your questions, which we are answering today. I have here Hannah, my assistant for this podcast, basically, wherein she has listed everything here, and we are going to answer it now. So we can start already.
For your introduction and background, can you share your journey from being a student to becoming a successful freelancer and a boss?
Becoming a student to a successful freelancer and a boss, that's somehow pressuring because I can't say like I'm so successful already in freelancing and becoming like a marketing agency owner. But I just want to share that before I started this marketing agency, I've already been a student freelancer. I started when I was second year college. I'm graduating, by the way. I'm graduating in a month. I started freelancing 2021, second year college, and I can say that I started it because I was shopping and I had no money left for shopping since it was pandemic, and my parents would just give me a specific budget of the week. And so I was like, I asked my friend and I told her, do you have any part-time job that I can, do just for summer? It was 2 months only. And she was like, yeah, okay. So I started that, and then I just had one client. Because I had one client, I didn't know it was freelancing. Then after a month, she approached me again and told me, do you want another client? And so that was when I realized it was freelancing already. And I think from there, I really started as a content writer because I had a personal blog back then, until now, of course. But I used to write in that blog, and that's what I did in my first job as a freelancer. I was a writer for captions, social media captions. So yeah, basically, really from being a student to a freelancer and now having a marketing agency, it was 3 long years, I can say.
For navigating freelancing challenges, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a student freelancer and how did you overcome them?
The biggest challenge probably I would say is balancing school and work, because my first priority would always be school and work is just the second. However, that time I had the peak of my career in those 3 years wherein I had 14 clients. I was handling 14 clients alone, which I don't really recommend, guys. I don't recommend handling 14 clients alone. And that was most challenging because it was my finals week. I was doing my thesis. I was doing everything I can to keep both my work and my school. And then, of course, I've had problems encountered with some other people, but past is past. Never discuss. I think it's really challenging wherein sometimes you really have to choose between one or the other. But at that time, I had no choice because my commitment to my university and my schooling was the most priority. However, these jobs that I have, these clients that I have, they're also a priority because it's business already. That's like their livelihood, and they're getting money out of it. Their family's getting money out of it. And so I cannot just leave them hanging after getting them as a client. So I think the most challenging part really is balancing both of it. And so I don't recommend getting 14 clients all at once, guys.
For your third question, freelancer skill set. What skill did you develop as a student freelancer that contributed to your success?
Skill set. I can say skills are very much important to each and every client that we offer our services to. But I think one of the things that you really have to practice, not just as a freelancer, but as a person in general, professional or even as a student, you really have to make sure you know how to balance your time, balance your priorities, because that's one skill that no one can even like teach you, not unless yourself. Because like writing, editing, graphics, videos, all of that, website and all, it can be learned with others. You can ask others for help, but balancing mostly your time for yourself, for your work, for your family, everything that you have priorities committed to, I think the most important skill set that you can have, that would be balancing your time.
Becoming a boss in a young age, how did you transition from a solo freelancer to managing clients, projects, and potentially a team?
Transitioning from a solo freelancer to having a team is one of the most challenging experience also for me. Everything is a challenge, guys. Don't believe that life is just like, flowers and all. Once you start working, it's really hard. It's really a challenge. But the transition between the solo freelancing to building a team was so hard for me already. That time, I didn't want to work already. I told my parents I wanted to quit my job. I just want to go back to being, just a regular student who doesn't have a job but has experience already. I think my turning point was I think I can say this, me quitting one of the first agencies that I really started with. At that point, there's just this one client that held on to me, and he was like, why don't you form a team? Because you have the skills already, like you have already what it takes to have that position. It's a good position. I'm still in that position now. That client, he was my turning point wherein, okay, I can build my team already. I think it's already time. Because if I wasn't going to build my team that point in time, probably I wouldn't be working now. I don't want to cry, but coffee coffee makes me wait. Coffee break. Basically, that time, it was really the hardest point of my life. I really wanted to quit everything to the point wherein I don't want to wake up already because the pressure has been so much for me. But that client was like, you can just build a team and then I'll support you. And yeah, I think from that point on, I'm getting out of the topic because of my emotions. Pero solo freelancing to building a team really is the hardest transition because the responsibility of a team member, not just one, not just two, I realized it was not just a team member that I hired. It was like giving them permission to also be part of the career that I'm building, and also their families. Like, they don't work for fun. They also work because they have a family to feed or they have school wherein they need support also. So I think really transitioning from solo freelancing to building a team is the hardest transition I can ever have. Because I always carry that burden. Not the burden. I always carry that responsibility wherein if I quit one day, it's not just my team members who would lose their jobs. It's also their family's food or their family's capacity to pay the bill. So that's what keeps me going until now, wherein it's not just me. Like, other people might say, like, through my personality, they would say, oh, she's working just because she wants to have fun, she wants to travel and all that. But it's not the case. I'm working also just because I have team members who would want to support their families also. So, yeah. So long. Okay, go.
So, in a topic of freelancing strategies, how did you find and retain clients while still in school?
I think the most important thing, if you want to really find and retain clients, is that you need to learn to have integrity. There are so many temptations right now, not just in school, but outside, inside your workplace and all, wherein you can just quit on one client because this other client pays more. But I think it's really important to have the integrity and the commitment to your clients, especially because they trusted you with their business. They trusted you with their career. They trusted you with whatever they're doing for their business and just gave you that opportunity to really work with them. So I think it's really finding integrity and retaining integrity, and the relationship that you build with your clients is important. They don't just pay you, but they work hard for it too. So make sure if you're a student or a freelancer or anyone who wants to dive into freelancing and getting those clients, make sure that you are ready to be committed no matter how much they pay, no matter how much bad they are to you. But also remember to have that care for yourself where you know your boundaries, when to stop and when to accept clients.
Building a brand and reputation. How did you build your personal brand and reputation as a freelancer?
It's really hard because I'm the type of person who wants something after it would change in a few months or a few weeks. Our operations manager would know that sometimes I would like this color and then after, oh, I think I want to change the color again, or I want to change the font. So our transition also to rebranding was very hard, very challenging, but we overcame it. Building our personal brand, until now, my personal brand isn't as set as it is. I have this vlog wherein I do lifestyle, but then I'm torn between if I should do lifestyle or work vlogs or somehow like that. But I think as a freelancer, you just really have to know your foundations. You just really have to know which types of services that you offer, which types of strengths that you have and skills that you have for you to build your own personal brand. Because it's easy to imitate others, but it's not easy to retain that. Because if you imitate one freelancer or one successful career woman already, and that's not your story to tell, it will be hard to tell your story to another person or people like your audience. You have to make sure when it comes to building your personal brand and your reputation, you need to know your foundations.
Your advice for student freelancer. What advices do you have for students who are considering or currently pursuing freelancing alongside their studies?
My advice for those students who wants to pursue or currently pursuing freelancing as a side hustle is that first, you have to ask your parents permission. It's important you ask your parents permission because sometimes your parents won't understand how hard or how tough freelancing can be, especially if you work with international clients, because they have different time zones, and then those time zones wherein you're working while they're sleeping already, and then they would be like, some parents would be like, why aren't you sleeping yet, and then all that. But I think, yeah, first you have to seek advice to your parents first, because most of the time, most of the students here, probably they're being supported by their parents in their studies. So as a side hustle, it's important that your parents would also know, for you to be able to be reminded also sometimes if you hustle too much, that your parents would always remind you, hey, you're still a student. Or your sisters or your friends, anyone near you, they have to somehow know that you're working already, so that you can set your boundaries also with them, wherein they can say, hey, you're doing too much already, or like, you haven't slept for how many hours already, you need to stop and sleep and rest first before you hustle again. So one thing also, I think, for students out there is that learn to prioritize what you should prioritize. It's important that you can study as well as you can work, but you have to really finish your studies first, because it will also give you a better resume, probably. Some cases they don't finish their studies. It's okay, depending on their story. But as for me, I really advise students to finish their studies, because there are some students I have encountered with one of my friends wherein she started to work as a freelancer, or I don't know if it's freelancing. Basically, she started working and then she stopped studying because she said she's earning enough and so she doesn't need the degree. After a few months, she got laid off of work, and so no company would pay her that much since she's not in school or she's not finishing her bachelor's degree. In most cases, really, they would need your bachelor's degree. Even now, since a lot of freelancers are coming, a lot are exploring already. So companies now, or even businesses outside the Philippines, they're now having that standard wherein you have to have a bachelor's degree, you have to have the skill set, you have to have how many years of experience already before we hire you. So that's one thing for students. You really have to finish your studies, guys, even if you're earning that much already.
So, next question, for your future aspirations, what are your future goals and aspirations as a freelancer?
I don't know how to answer that. I think it's really more of building more systems for the company and having that integrity still as a company, that we will just be committed to exploring more of what the client would need, and we would always prioritize the needs of the client, and building more team members. In our team members right now, how many are you guys? But you guys are 7, and 4 of you are working really, but 3 of you are student freelancers too. I'm very proud of my team. I would want to build more and give more opportunities to students who would want to study while doing freelancing. But guys, don't flood us with your messages after this applying for a job, because we're not hiring yet. But yeah, basically, I would like to give more opportunities to a lot of people. I think that's just really my goal. I would like to travel a lot and earn a lot, but other than that, I would like to grow as a person. I would like to grow as a boss. I would like to grow with people around me and increase more job offers for other people and Filipinos out there who would need jobs in the future. So, yeah, that's the goal.
So, for your final questions, for the key takeaways and insights, what final insights or inspiration would you like to share with listeners who are intrigued by your story?
I just want to share with the listeners out there that I'm getting teary-eyed already. But your story is your own to tell. Others can bring you down most of the time, especially when they see your success already. Even if you don't see that success and they see you as it is, they can bring you down so much. But remember that your worth is not defined by who they define who you are. Your worth will always be defined by, of course, our source, the Lord. Never ever listen to the comments out there. Just do what you have to do, because that job or that thing that you have to do is yours to do only. It's not their own job. Don't mind the bashers, guys. Just do you. Bashers are everywhere, you know? You can't control anyone's opinion because that's their own opinion. They are entitled to their opinion. But I've said before, whatever others would say, that does not define who you are. And that doesn't mean you have to do it also. But basically, I just really want, if you're listening right now, just continue no matter how hard it is in life. There's always hope. There's always good future that's ahead of you. I just want to thank everyone here again. See you, because it's getting emotional already. So I would just see you on our next podcast. If you have any comments, suggestions for topics, or any questions, clarifications, please feel free to message us through our social media platforms or even our email. And please continue supporting our podcast, guys. So till next time, bye everyone.